I felt that cancer to me came like a baby from which I needed to learn. My God, it's a weird thing to say when you say a baby. Even doctors, seeing the symptoms, did not test me for this disease until I was at fourth stage, it had spread everywhere. And you'd come to a stage where you didn't know if you're going to make it or not. And I needn't have reached that stage.
It's almost like that deer that runs around in the forest trying to be like, oh, what is this thing that I'm smelling? What is this thing that I'm smelling? And eventually never realizes that it's within her.
Sympathy is just, it's a downer. It pulls you down because I don't think it serves any purpose.
According to me, strength is being able to show your scars and be like, hey, I'm fighting this battle, but I'm fine.
Why me is not the question. The question is that what will I learn from this? I cannot be dishonest and say I'm doing it so I can help people. I'm not. The fact is, I'm helping myself. I'm just being selfish.
Sonali, welcome to Soul Safar with Bhaav. I have been wanting to have this conversation for many reasons. Most of them are very, very personal. You know, there's a difference about speaking with people who embody their experiences. Speaking to somebody who just has knowledge has a different taste to it. And when you speak to somebody who has lived an experience, there's just a completely different learning that you gain from it. And I'm a sucker for learning and sucker for growing, and I can't thank you enough for coming on this episode of Soul Safar with Bhaav.
Bhaav, it's my pleasure to be here, and what you said is true when you said that there's something personal. You know, conversations are great only when they're personal. Otherwise, all of us have so many people in our lives and we are talking. Sometimes you're talking at people because they're not taking it in. So one of the learning over the period has been that if somebody is not really taking it in, there's no point in that conversation. Why waste the energy? Right. So I'm so happy you said that it's personal, because I love it when it's personal, which means it means something to the person.
Correct.
So you want to give it that energy then.
Right.
So I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
And I'll tell you why it's so deeply personal, because late last year, we figured that my mum was diagnosed with fourth stage of liver and stomach cancer. That was the point that threw all of us completely off center. Of course, while I was dealing with what I was dealing as a child, that immense fear, there was a point where I looked at her and I realized that when your own survival is in question, I can't even imagine what must be going through her head. And looking back, I feel that yes, I did do a lot of things right, but I look back and I'm like, yes, I may have also said some things from my perspective, not understanding what she's going through. And yeah, that's what it is. It is, I want to ask you, because this makes me understand my mother better. What is it, what goes through your mind when your question is, when your survival is in question?
First of all, how is she doing now?
Okay, so as we speak today, I'm very happy to say that she's out of the red zone.
Oh, fantastic.
And so I know that she's here, and whatever I learn, I can still go back and make amends. I don't have to live in guilt and, or resentment towards myself. So yes, I am taking this conversation is about understanding and resolution, which will be a full circle.
So everybody's journey is their own, Bhaav, and so I really don't know how I'll be able to help you. But I also feel that you can just be honest about things and talk about it, and everybody finds something that they can take away from it. So what I can hope for is, in our conversation today, I hope you find takeaways that help you with whatever it is. I promised myself that if anybody ever asks me about this journey of mine, I'll be as truthful and honest as I can be about it. Having said that, there's a caveat to it. I'm reaching a stage where, you know, things that are not very happy memories, you kind of want to forget. Right. And I suppose that must be a survival mechanism, and I think I have that in abundance. So I am also at that stage because I'm in my 6th year I've started my 6th year of remission now.
Congratulations.
And I hope to keep it that way.
Of course it
So yeah, it's been amazing.
Right. Coming back to my question, what does it feel like for somebody who's like, oh my God, also because the word cancer is now a household name.
Yeah.
You know, there used to be a point where it was like, oh, chachi ki dadi ko hua hai, or that house has it. Now every house has it.
This is not something that the middle class Maharashtrian upbringing doesn't allow me to say that, but I can say this with a little bit of pride, if that is the right word to use in this situation. But I would say in getting this conversation to this stage where it's a household name, I think I've had a huge part in that. Because when I spoke about it, and there were a few people who thought, you know, in our line of work, the way it is that you think you're an actor and, you know, film people, everything is about PR and publicity and what are you gaining from it. What happened to me was, it was a bolt out of the blue. And I mean, I was at a stage where people were saying, oh, you're looking so good, and I was working so much and I was doing so many things. So when all that is happening suddenly out of the blue, there were obviously some symptoms that had been going on for a while, but you don't think that it is the big C.
Right.
I mean, and for me, after all the exposure and the education also, it was like, this can't happen to me. I was in the middle of a show, so which meant a reality show, which meant at a regular interval you would be working,
right.
Which means I was going to be out of that, and it would be noticed. It was not something that anyway, I'm not so much in the public eye right now. Let me just go away, do my treatment, disappear for a bit. I was right in the middle of it, so
right.
I couldn't just disappear without it being a conversation. Now, my son was 12 at that point of time, and you know, the way with internet and social media, and kids are so much more savvy and onto it, and the WhatsApp messages, you know, with the way my parents are dealing with it, I just didn't want gossip around it. I didn't want innuendos. I didn't want some rubbish being spoken about it. I wanted my family and my friends to know what it was without it being the story and the narrative being mine, you know,
Correct.
Without it being overdone, underdone, or whatever it was. I just wanted to tell it as it was. So the idea was of putting out this post saying that this is what has happened, so I'm taking some time out, all the best to the world kind of a zone, and move on, you know.
Right.
So I thought that would be my post, and we will be snoozing the social media thing while I, you know, hopefully fight this out and recover. One didn't know how and where this would go. When I put the post out, you know, it was shocking the kind of response we got. Of course, there was immense amount of love, and I'm so grateful for that even today. And there were, you know, across the social media accounts, what I saw was that people across the strata of society, across the various genders, you know, villages, cities, B-towns, whatever you say, out of India also, so many people got in touch and they were sharing their stories. And I said, if so many people have been going through it, why have I not heard of it? Why is it happens rarely? This is obviously not a rare occurrence. Right. Then you realize that everybody who has had it is hiding it or not talking about it. And I realized that this had happened in my family too, but we never knew. It was called various other illnesses, but nobody spoke about it. Once I figured out and understood where it was coming from, it was genetic, and which meant that had I known about it, the symptoms could have been picked on much earlier. You also realize that, you know, when this disease, if you catch it early, it is so treatable and it needn't be as horrible as it is. So what I understood was that early detection saves lives. I love that term. So everything is not about genetics. There are other reasons too for it. But if you're aware of that this can be a possibility, then when you have symptoms, you're going to look at it. Even doctors seeing the symptoms did not test me for this disease until I was at 4th stage. It had spread everywhere, and you'd come to a stage where you didn't know if you're going to make it or not. And I needn't have reached that stage. See, my life has been pretty much healthy and on point that way. So my body was telling me that, and I was in communication and telling people that this is happening. But you know, if doctors are okay with it, you also say that okay, I mean, you know, we'll sort it, and it can get. So the panic situation happened when I was at 4th stage, and you know, the thing was that had I detected it even at 2nd stage, it would have been so much more simpler. Today, 6 years later, I'm alive, but there are so many side effects to the harsh treatment, and those side effects I wouldn't need to deal with them, and I'll have to deal with them all my life. People don't need to go through that. So that's when I decided I'm going to talk about this, and that's what I can bring to the table. And I've got so many messages from so many women who heard this, were in shock because they knew that my lifestyle was not like that. So have gone for testing, have got it at 1st stage, at 2nd stage, and you know, so I think I'm vindicated in that sense, and I'm happy that it achieved what I wanted to achieve.
The most important thing that came out of this, Sonali, is awareness. You created awareness. And you know, I have realized that situations that we call bad or unsavory are catalysts. All of us have very different purposes in life, many different purposes in life. And sometimes to recognize your purpose and to really start embodying your purpose, you have to turn that corner. I don't know why it has to be like for you to recognize that part of your purpose, you have to go through a...
You know, Bhaav, I would say that growth is loss of innocence, and it's always sad when you lose innocence, and we've seen it as we grew up also. It's always been like that. But having said that, I don't know if I've still found the purpose in my life or not. We think that we do, but there are times when I still feel that I still haven't found it. I feel I'm seeking it, I'm looking for it. I don't know if I have found it.
You know, the beauty about it is you don't realize it, but by just living out your life the way you are, speaking about these things, you're already serving the purpose, creating that awareness for thousands of women out there who've, like you said, got themselves tested, caught it at an early age, is the purpose. So sometimes we don't realize, like, it's almost like that deer that runs around in the forest trying to be like, oh, what is this thing that I'm smelling? What is this thing that I'm smelling? And eventually never realizes that it's within her.
Yeah.
So it's exactly like that. That's how I'm looking at you today. That's how you're living out your purpose. Maybe you're not aware of it, but it is one of the purposes that you are living out.
But you know, it would be lovely to be aware of it, because once that awareness comes in and you know this is the thing, it would add it would be beautiful to be able to, you know, kind of focus on that and move more towards it.
What I noticed about your journey, which is so beautiful, and also when I say beautiful, also very difficult, because in retrospect, people will look at how you shared your journey on Instagram and you were so fearless about it. People are like, oh, you were so strong. It was so good that you did it, and it's so inspirational. But I know in that moment, to even put that one picture out there means a lot to you, especially as a celebrity. When you put something out and in 5 minutes you decide that, oh my God, it's too personal, I don't want to do it. By then there are so many people who've just screenshotted it. Like, for example, when my partner passed, I intuitively decided that nobody talks about grief. Nobody talks about these emotions because it is so, for some reason, very sacred. It's very intimate. And then in that moment, people tell you a lot of things about this is how grief will hit you. And when I sat back, I'm like, it's not playing out like that. And then you start feeling alone. You're just like, okay, is something wrong with me? Why am I not feeling a certain way? Then there was a voice that said that if you're feeling alone, there could be somebody else who's feeling alone. Yeah. Just put the post out there, and you know, even if that post reaches that one person and they feel like, you know, somebody else went through it, I don't know who this person is, that's it. It's going to serve its purpose. But I know what it took to put that post on a daily basis saying, today I don't feel anything. Today I look at my friends and feel like they're living out their life without me and I'm not included. And it was a lot to put that post out. And then the awareness that came through it. There were some people obviously who said that, oh, he's doing it to get attention. But then there were a lot of people out there who said, I feel the same way.
Yeah.
And at one point of time, I even distanced myself from the people who were saying good things about me. Because I was just like, if I really want to live in a neutral state, yes, it's easy to disconnect from the bad, but you have to disconnect from the good as well, because I have to live out my life. And I saw that in your experience where you put out those posts, and I see many people applaud you, and it should be applauded, but in that moment it's difficult. Why did you decide to share this part of your journey?
When you talk about being fearless and people say that you're so strong, it's not like you're intending to be that. What you're doing is just dealing with the situation at that point of time. So I didn't intend to be strong, or it was not a thought process that, oh, I'm going to be so strong about it. And I don't think it works like that also, because as you see more and more of people who are dealing with things, like how you said you were dealing with it, it was because you wanted to deal with it. So that want should be there, that I want to do this. See, for me, my want was that my son is so young, I wanted to, fight this. I wanted to be alive for him. And that for me was the want, and everything else was a byproduct of that. I just wanted to get through these days to be there, and I kept telling myself that, till 18, till he is 18. I've seen my husband lose his father early, and I know that when you lose a parent, that scar, there's just so much of change. What I mean is the trauma that the soul carries,
Right.
and I don't even want to say a child or a teenager. I feel it's the soul.
Yeah.
And so for me, that was the thing. I said, I don't want my child, the soul that is in my child, to be feeling this trauma right now. Already he's going to be feeling the trauma, because this was such a big deal, and I did not hide it from him, and it was just, he was thrown into this situation, and I said that, okay, that's the way he will grow up. This must be adding some layer of depth to him, some layer of character to him. So I'll accept it for that. But I cannot, if I can help it, I don't want him to go through the scar of losing a parent early, and
Right.
especially a mother. I have a partner in my husband who is an amazing parent, like really an amazing parent and a father. But I still feel that at a certain point, what a mother brings to the table is different from what a father brings to the table. Nothing is bigger or greater than the other. There are certain things that only a mother can bring, and there are certain things that a mother can't, only a father can bring to the table. And that's why a child needs both. So that for me was the reason to want to be alive, and that want was what saw me through it. I remember when I turned a parent, I always felt, when I was bringing up Ranveer, who was younger, I just felt that it was more, how do I say this, rather than a child was born, I felt like it was for a reason. This came to me because I needed to learn something from it. And I felt that cancer to me came like a baby from which I needed to learn. My God, it's a weird thing to say when you say a baby, because baby is a miracle and you love and all of that, and this was cancer, but it was like that. That feeling was the same. I felt like it came to me at that phase, because I was at a point where I needed to evolve, I needed to grow, I needed to learn something from it. And it is literally like a different phase that has happened. Like you bow down to a teacher, you always appreciate, and we always say that, oh my God, this taught me. You hold on to that horrible thing. I don't mean hold on in a wrong way, but you hold on to it, or you look at it and say, you were my teacher, thank you for it. And I think what was negative and what was harmful and what actually hurt you, your perspective of the way you look at it changes, and it's really not that hateful anymore.
Yeah.
And I think when you're not hating on it so much, you're healing yourself, and that helps you recover.
Right.
It's just such a like a non-scientific thing to say. Oh, I didn't realize I was so non-scientific actually, because when I went through my illness, I was so clear that I was going with the science. That everything that came to me which was not science, I said, this is going to distract me, I'm not looking at it. And here I am sitting on Soul Suffer talking and realizing, because this I've realized just now, maybe this is what I needed to go through right now with you, Bhaav, to understand that maybe I need to look at more unscientific sources to find some sort of a closure, maybe.
I'm
Maybe.
so happy to be a part of that part of your journey.
Oh my God, yeah.
Also, another thing that my mum said to me when we found out was that don't tell the relatives yet. She said, because I don't want to see sympathy in their eyes. I have my own fears to deal with and I will deal with it. She took some time to come around, but she said, I will deal with it on my own. Don't tell the people. Because whatever you say, you know, when you go through this kind of an event that can be a catalyst, you see the change in people's energies. You sense it when you walk into a room, just by the way somebody look at you or just say hi to you or just say how are you, the way they say it changes.
When you don't know if you're going to make it, the kind of clarity that comes in is amazing. And I really wish that we could have that kind of a clarity otherwise also. I think what I would call your bullshit meter is like right up there by then. But yeah, that is true. And sympathy is just, it's a downer. It pulls you down because I don't think it serves any purpose. When you're giving sympathy, what you need to give is empathize, not sympathize. Because when you sympathize with somebody, what you're doing is you're reinforcing the negative emotions. That, oh, poor you, look at what has happened, oh my God, you know, I don't need that right now. I'm dealing with a lot. I don't need you to add to that. Yes, if you can come and say that, yeah, I hear you, how can I be of help? Let's talk about good things. Let's do something nice. I feel you. But you know what, hey, you're looking great even with no hair. Oh my God, the shape, I didn't know the shape of your head was so good. I said, oh, I love you because you've come to me and you've told me something that is positive about my bald head. I like that. Just as an example, I'm saying that.
Right.
So anybody who was not coming with that energy I was just like, I don't want to meet them. Also, so when you go through something like this, it does help you identify who are the positive force in your life and who is a negative force in your life and who really doesn't just do anything in your life.
Correct.
So those categories become kind of clear, and after that you see to it that you remember those categories and just cut the negativity out, cut the adding nothing to my life also to the minimum, because that's waste of my time and energy because you're adding nothing to my life, and focus on people who are adding something to your life.
You know, it's very important to mention here is sometimes people think that I have to say something. If I meet you after hearing a certain news, I have to say something and I don't know what to say and I'll end up saying the wrong thing. Sometimes not saying anything and just being there quietly, silently. Don't have to, like, you know, that's where people go wrong because they don't know how to deal with situations like these. You know, there were times when people told me that, I'm sorry I didn't message you, I didn't know what to say. And I'm like, that's absolutely okay.
Yeah.
That's the best thing you did for me. It's fine. If you have, like you said, nothing to contribute, if you just stay out of the way, that's the biggest help that you can offer somebody.
But you know, people don't understand that because it's the boxes that need to be ticked. And so, oh, you've lost someone, there's a grief, and you never. And there are people who look at those boxes and who will hold it against you if you've not reached out. So there are all kinds of people, and now, so there will be people who will get upset with the person like what you said and said that, oh, you know, they never reached out or and stuff like that. But I would say when you're in that kind of a situation, it's just saying the fact that acknowledging that you've had a loss or you're going through something and saying that I'm sorry that this has happened to you. I hope this gets better soon.
Right.
Strength to you. I think that's all one can say. Because I also feel that when you acknowledge it, it does feel good. Because I have to tell you that when I went through things, people who acknowledged it, it did give me strength. I wouldn't say, maybe strength is not the right word. I don't know how to explain it. But it felt good at that point of time that somebody has felt something for me. Just the fact that there was a feeling is good.
Right.
and I remember it and I appreciate it totally.
Right.
So it's not about how much, it's just about that honest, genuine 2 words.
Right.
I don't want paragraphs, but
Right.
just 2
2
words do make a difference.
Right. You use the word strength, and I feel that sometimes the word strength or be strong, a phrase like be strong, can either help or do a lot of damage. And I see strength not as standing firm when there's nothing going wrong, but strength in vulnerability. According to me, strength is being able to show your scars and be like, hey, I'm fighting this battle, but I'm fine. So what does strength mean to you today?
I don't know if I have an answer for that. Because I think most of the times what happens is, what we feel is strength, or the person we feel are strong. I feel sometimes are preconceived notions of what strength should be. And I do feel that we don't really know all the aspects of strength and how it should look. It's only in hindsight sometimes that you feel that, oh my God, actually that was strength. So I feel that strength comes in a garb of various emotions, feelings, actions. And sometimes what looks like weakness or any other emotion, in hindsight later on you realize was actually strength. So the bamboo that bends is also strong, and the tree that stands erect is also strong. But that strong tree will get uprooted, while that bamboo, the strength is in bending. So different people have different strength, and we have to accept the fact that everybody's strength is going to be different. That's the only way I think I can explain it. I don't know if that helps.
Sonali, again, the beauty is that you say that I don't know how to explain strength, and then you go ahead and give me a beautiful answer about what strength actually, because that is what is strength.
Yeah.
What you said is, according to me, the exact definition of strength, because you only see how strong you were while you were in the eye of the storm, in hindsight, in retrospect. So you're giving me all perfect 10 on 10 answers, and but that's the beauty, the unawareness, because like I said, you're that deer you're really that deer.
But I think also I appreciate what you're saying. I don't know if that is true. I hope that is true. But the fact is also that most of us are that. Because rather than saying, why me? I mean, it's one of the most wasted emotions questions that a human being can ask. This self-pity, wasn't it Oscar Wilde who said it, that, an animal in the jungle, when it breaks its bones or gets eaten, it doesn't feel self-pity. They get on to life, they go on, they look after the young ones, they move on to the next thing. So what is this self-pity? Why me is not the question. The question is that, what will I learn from this? Why me? If you do ask yourself that, then the thing should be, why me? Because I am meant to learn something from this. Somewhere I've been plateauing, and this is time for growth, and universe is sending me this this for a reason, so that I can grow from here. And I think that is what my takeaway for this was.
When something like this happens to people, everybody knows that when it happened to you, everybody knows that how you changed your life around to look at your physical well-being. We know that you went into yoga, you started practicing yoga, you changed your entire diet around, but nobody really knows how to deal with mental health at that point. If I have to ask you, not for a tip for others, but like 3 things that you did to help yourself mentally at those times, what were the 3 things that you did?
I don't know what I did, in the sense of what I can do is I can tell you what sort of a journey I had in the way I was thinking. So physical well-being is a huge part of your mental health. definitely you have to ask for help, but a lot of people don't even understand that they need help to ask for it. So I do feel that a lot of chemical reactions in your body are a huge part of your mental health. So we all need to start from the physical level. Let's get that sorted first, and that will help a lot of your mental health issues.
Right.
And then when you've sorted and understood what the physical aspect of it is, and if you're still not able to sort your mental issues out, you will at least be able to understand that I need help.
Correct.
And then you'll start seeking that help. Then you will grow out of that help also, and you will find what you need next. There were two hashtags. I became the Gen Z and added hashtags into my life. One was switch on the sunshine, and which was something that came very instinctively to me when I saw the sun rising across the horizon, and I said, this is what it is. This is the sunshine coming into my life, and I'm going to switch the sunshine on when it is not on mentally. That's for my mental state. That when the darkness is coming, switch the sunshine on. The switch is going to be in my hand.
Correct.
That's where that came from. And one day at a time. Because the moment you look at any problem and it overwhelms you.
Right.
So the moment you start looking at it piecemeal, which is when you look at, let me just get through today and I'll deal with it tomorrow. You know what? I can't deal with it just now, so let me just sleep and then I'll deal with it tomorrow. So that one day at a time came from that. So these two hashtags, I think, did make a huge difference in the way I was thinking.
So as a parting question, Sonali, just like my mum, I see now that you've told me your journey, I see that what pulled you through is your faith. Maybe not in anything on the outside, maybe you didn't give it a name on the outside, but just in yourself. So what, according to you, is faith?
For me, I would say, especially when I see this journey, I would, rather than calling it faith, I would say want. And maybe want is another word of faith, maybe.
Yeah.
Because isn't that what we do? When we really want something, we tell whoever our God is that I want this and get this for me, and we believe they will get it.
Yeah.
Or it will be achieved. And that then is the faith. So maybe the core of faith is want.
Yeah.
Maybe. That's the
maybe
conclusion I'm coming
maybe that's
to.
what it is, because your belief in something comes from your want. Like, I want it, I believe that it will happen, and then when you're validated enough, maybe it becomes your faith. Who is to say how it works?
So maybe it's the thing that we all say, that maybe we all have our wants, but we are in denial of what our want is. Sometimes we think, how can I say I want this? What will others think? Sometimes we're giving it some other name, but not really making it what it is.
Yeah.
This just cut all the bullshit out and just told me that this is what I want, this is the wants, hence the belief. Maybe that's the faith.
Yeah, that was the faith.
Yeah.
You know, I am at a point in my life, Sonali, through all my learnings, I look at everybody as a healer. I'll tell you why. Because sometimes people learn modalities to heal. Sometimes people go through life and then speak and heal. Just, we don't even know who you're healing by living your life the way you're living it, and by speaking your truth, you could be healing thousands of people out there.
I hope so, but I don't know if that is possible. If it is, it's great.
It's great, and that's just our hope, that whatever we speak is going to help that one person out there. And I'm sure it's helping more. And because when you help one person, like I said, it's a ripple effect. It helps those other people just surrounding
Bhaav,
them.
that's lovely to hear and all of that. But again, what I felt, and every time that somebody said you're helping someone, it's really not so amazing and oh, I'm helping someone. Honestly, I'm trying to help myself.
That's exactly.
That's all there is to it. Everything is a byproduct. If it is helping others, I'm really, really happy for them. Yeah. But I cannot be dishonest and say I'm doing it so I can help people. I'm not. I'll be, if you go down to the bare bones of it, when we go down with the clarity, and I'm extremely brutally honest with myself, the fact is, I'm helping myself. I'm just being selfish.
Actually,
that's all it is.
That's what I said. Sometimes you just live your life. Sometimes you just by being, that's why they say, somebody said very beautifully, we are called human beings because we are just supposed to be. Just
Oh,
by
how nice. Say that again.
So somebody said that we are called human beings because we are just supposed to be. We are not called human doings. So you're not doing something to help somebody, because you're being. Just by being and maybe by observation and sitting here and talking.
I want a plaque made of this. This is what it is.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah. So just by being yourself, and you think, and you're doing it for yourself, maybe, like you said, down to the brass tacks, but just by being, and just by being that example of being, you're helping so many other people out there. And maybe that's not the intention, but it is happening as a byproduct. And thank you so much for coming here today. Thank you for speaking your truth. It's been wonderful. Thank you so much.
This time around, I need to thank you, because as we saw through this conversation, I found a path, I found some answers. Certain things became clearer for me. So it should be the other way around. I need to thank you. I need to thank you for this conversation.
It's my
really nice.
absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.